What are you doing there?
Hey, Kaya, what's up, man?
Okay. All right. Cool. Hey, I got a message. Multiple messages on Classic Firearms. They're saying, let's get ready to rumble, like rumble stuff. What is this rumble thing?
Oh, the Rumble thing?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a platform that actually allows you to exercise your First Amendment right and Second Amendment right, I guess. And I don't know, I can actually like take mags out and, I don't know, show how guns work and shoot full autos on that platform. And so maybe you should get subscribed to Rumble. By the way, if you're looking for our SHOT Show coverage and maybe can't find it on the Classic Firearms YouTube channel, make sure you're subscribed to Outside the Warehouse. Now, with that being said, we did see a lot of cool things at SHOT Show. Let's talk about the top 5 accessories that we saw. Welcome back, everybody. Clint here today with Classic Firearms. We've got Kaya back with us.
What's up, guys?
And we're here to bring you our top 5 accessories pick from SHOT Show. Because, well, as you guys know, we just got back from that. I think we're all starting to feel a little bit better.
Oh, yeah.
I know I'm definitely sounding better. Well, maybe not to you guys per usual, but we are here. I'm talking better at least, I think, and we're here to talk about what we saw at SHOT that we thought was pretty freaking cool, accessories-wise. We've done this about firearms and everything else, but now we're doing it about some of the cool lasers and optics and things that aren't pistols and whatever and what else. So, to kick this off, let's go ahead and talk about our number 5 pick. You interviewed, and what we're actually going to show you guys is an interview we don't even have up right now with B&T, the BWC. So, what did they say the BWC stood for?
I don't know. Because we can.
Okay.
Yeah, because we can. Is what
because
I was
we
told.
can is what BWC stands for. Okay, all right, cool. I was just had to clarify there. So, in this interview, though, you know what? Let's just go ahead and show the interview. And we'll tell you guys our thoughts after.
Nobody saw this interview, by the way.
Nobody's seen this interview from Classic, so enjoy.
All right, here we are at the B&T's booth. I've got Sean over here. Sean, thanks for having us, man. Appreciate it.
Welcome to the show.
Absolutely, thank you. So, you got some new products over here, and you're holding something in your hand. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, so people come to SHOT Show to see all sorts of new guns, but I'm not holding a firearm. This is a chassis with a pick rail and an optic. B&T BWC-9. Now, a customer may, if they want to, provide their own Sig Sauer fire control unit from a P320, slide and barrel in their choice of 9mm, 40, or 357 Sig, and create a short barrel rifle because they can. In fact, BWC stands for because we can, 9. So this briefcase gun setup is a non-serialized transaction. Again, B&T is selling the chassis and the Acro P2 optic. You provide your own FCU barrel and slide, assemble it yourself, and file your own paperwork with the ATF. The grip folds up, and the stock folds under in this nice little package.
There you go. You're on your way to the office.
Of course, I'm just going about my own business.
Attorney, right?
And then it has a nice little recessed charging handle here.
All right.
Yeah.
That is super cool. And this is available right now?
It's going to be available at the end of first quarter, I'm told. So.
Okay. I'm just curious, like, this is such an awesome piece. What was the inspiration behind this? Like, what were they thinking?
Because they can. Literally.
You know what? I like that answer. Because you can, so why not?
I believe that's
awesome.
why Carl Brugger named it that.
So cool and just so innovative. It's one of those things like, if you like guns, you gotta have one of these.
It's not a gun, it's a chassis with an optic, as
if you like chassis,
demonstrated.
you wanna have one of these, for sure.
So, I just want to make something really clear from this interview. It's a chassis. It's not a pistol.
Yes, it's not a firearm, not a pistol. It is a chassis. I apologize. I thought it was.
That's why it's number 5 on our accessories list. But here's what's really cool about it. The BWC, because we can.
Yes.
B&T knows how to throw some shade, right? They know how to throw some shade because if we look at the GHM, the grasshopper mouse, is very effective at killing scorpions. The PCC that they came out with is named after an animal that's very good at killing another PCC named after the animal that it was designed to kill.
You guys follow?
Scorpions.
Scorpions.
So it's like they know how to throw some shade, right? And so it's almost like, how long did it take? I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. How long did it take Magpul to come out with a prototype of the FDP or whatever the heck it was called? And it's cool, don't get me wrong. And then B&T's like, there you go. And this is a chassis, not a full-on firearm, because we can.
Somehow the grip folds
Yeah.
and it's integrated, but
It's
not
a
a
cool
firearm.
it's a cool thing. But I will say this, B&T for range day next year, can y'all get your stuff together, please? Because we don't have time to sit there and wait for 45 minutes to 50 minutes to try to get an interview, and you guys just keep acting like we don't even exist. So that was cool. I don't know what we did to make you mad, but it's fine because we can. You're number 5 on our list. So number 4. For this next one, it was another manufacturer that you interviewed, ScalarWorks.
yes.
So we've used a lot of ScalarWorks mounts in our giveaways. We're currently giving one away on the Night Force for the MR556A1, but they came out with something that I thought was really cool. So, first of all, another reason why he's on the list,
Of course, he has to show it.
he was showing the Mark 18. So, you know, I was like, all right, well, that's pretty cool. So I got to bring mine out, right? But he had a very similar setup. Light on the right side, D-ball. Well, he had a PEC 15 sitting on top. What you'll notice is even though the EOTech is sitting on a riser mount, sitting a little bit higher, I still pick this up in my field of view. Even in the magnifier, when I look through this, I can see a little bit of a black shade at the bottom, right? It's not a huge deal, and you kind of learn how to cope with it. And I've got both of these, again, on their own natural risers that they come with. What ScalarWorks has actually come out with is their own type of mount that replaces the mount that the EOTech utilizes, which, again, I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
A lot of you might not know, but the QD mount, I almost messed up and took it off, by the way. Apparently,
Oh, that's right. You can't do
YouTube
that.
doesn't like that. So, this is okay, though, right? Like, is that okay? Like, I'm not, you know.
That's okay.
I'm doing it a lot. So, all right. Anyway, so the QD mount that you see right here is actually removable, and it replaces the ScalarWorks mount, replaces the QD mount that you see here. So it sits nice and low to the actual mount, but it does raise it a little bit higher, so that way you can see over whatever type of crap you have on the front of your gun, and it allows you also having an additional space for your magnifier. Now, the positioning of where he had it was a little bit more forward, sitting kind of over the rail, which, again, I don't think it's bad sight placement, but if you're running a magnifier, you'll notice it has a pretty short eye relief. If you kind of look where my eye is, I have to get kind of right up on it, right? So if you're gonna be running that mount a little bit more forward, you're gonna be kind of like really goosenecking it to try to get out there, and that's just not gonna be comfortable.
And all that without really increasing the weight. It's the same weight.
It's the same
as
weight, which
yeah.
it blows my mind too, because how do you have naturally more material, a larger footprint, but a less weight?
Some expensive aluminum, guys.
Yeah, right. 7075 T6 is what he said, right? So it's still high quality stuff. He's not skipping out there, but pretty neat. But he also, you know, just as a kind of honorable mention to ScalarWorks, he also mentioned a couple of other mounts. So the EOTech is their first one that they're coming out with for EOTech, and they're also coming out with an ACOG mount. So you'll notice on the M4 here, you've got the Trijicon ACOG, but they've also got a different mount for it now that allows you to throw a 45-degree offset for your RMR instead of having to do like a top mount like this, or have a completely, how many iterations can I bring out? Or having a completely, like on my Mark 12 here, a completely separate mount, right? So this is a completely separate mount from the gun itself that gives me that, you know, if I want to go magnified to my non-magnified or my red dot, it's just a quick little 45-degree cant, which again, I love. Yeah. And so this mount allows you to do the same thing, but it's all one mount. You don't have to have a bunch of other mounts that cost more money and weight and things like that.
Yeah, another point of failure too, you know?
Right.
So
I think I actually just kind of did all the talking for him. I didn't really think about that. So, but here's the interview.
yes, there is an interview.
All right, here we are at the ScalarWorks booth, and I've got Phil over here. Phil, thanks for having us, man.
Hey, absolutely.
All right, so Phil, you got some really cool mounts over here you want to talk about?
Yes, so these are
There you go.
our latest offerings, bringing these to SHOT Show 2023. So this is our first EOTech mount. It is for the EXPS2 and EXPS3, and it is a mount, not a riser, as the mount actually replaces the factory QD lever base completely. A lot of people don't know, but the QD base on the EOTech EXPS2 and 3 is removable. You can flip the lever from either side, or you can just chuck it in the bin and put this new mount on when it's out. It raises the optic 226 height, kicks it out forwards to provide better field of view around the EOTech, because it is a little bit chunky. It does have our proprietary click drive QD system. You can then mount an optional Picatinny rail on the back if you so choose, and you can run any standard height flip-to-side magnifier like a G33 or one of our Leap 6 mounts or anything else that comes out in the future without having a dedicated 226 mount for that. And the beauty of the replacement bit of it is that it weighs exactly the same as the OEM mount, so you need absolutely no additional weight to the rifle for all the functionality that it gives you.
That is super cool, man. Like, it looks sleek and looks like a very, very efficient way to mount that EOTech on there.
Thank you.
Really cool.
Thank you very much.
So,
Yeah, so that 226 height on the EOTech mount, I mean, same weight, same everything, raises up, solves a problem. I mean, they're definitely doing good stuff over there.
Right, which again is pretty cool because whether you decide to do passive or active aiming with your night vision as well, that gets it up a little bit higher, so that way you can use your night vision in conjunction with your actual optic, or if you're running a gas mask, whatever else it might be, it just gets a little bit further off the gun, which is a nice thing. And again, like I said, if you're running your laser, then, well, again, that's sitting on top of the gun, which I can still kind of view in my optic.
Yeah.
So I could just naturally get another riser here, but if it's all the same material, all on one piece, just
It makes sense.
that.
Absolutely, yeah.
so pretty
Good
cool stuff. Yep, now let's roll into spicy number 3 pick. Number 3, you didn't get by to EOTech, did you?
I didn't. You did, but I saw the video of that. It seems amazing. It's the what is it? The original
OGL.
gangster.
The original-
gangster light.
Yeah,
right? That's what it is.
Yeah, well, laser, but yeah.
Laser. Yeah, original gangster laser. Is that what it is?
OGL, the on-gun laser by EOTech. We went by their booth over there, and we talked about this on the podcast, and I thought, what's really going to make this a winner is that dial, right? It's got a lever on the side of it, right where your activation is, or your trigger, right? Your activation button for your laser is right here on the PEC 15 that you see on this M4A1.
Oh wow.
Wow, look at that.
Nice.
Magic. So anyway, so instead of having this activation button here, you actually have a lever that allows you to control the throw and the width, I guess you could say, the diameter of the actual illuminator.
Which is super cool.
Which is super
Yeah.
cool because you can go from being outside, right, and you need to be able to throw, if it's super dark, it's a cloudy day, whatever it might be, because night vision takes a little bit of, what's the word, residual light? What's the word I'm looking for? Why can't I think of
Ambient
it?
light?
Thank you, ambient light. That way it can absorb some of that, right? It's night vision isn't just, like if you were to come into this room that has no windows, shut off all the lights, pitch black. You put on night vision, it's going to be super grainy and you're not going to be able to see much of anything. Now all of a sudden you turn on your IR illuminator, a lot of night vision has it built in, like my PVS-14 monotube poor man night vision, it's got a built-in illuminator and it brightens things up. So it's casting faux light, which is pretty cool. Same thing that your D-ball or your PEC does or whatever the heck else it might be, or your MAL, whatever.
Yeah.
It does the same thing. However, if you want to adjust your illuminator, you always have to kind of like spin this like you would a camera lens or something, right? So EOTech said, we can fix that. Now they just put a little lever here and it's very easy to manipulate and it doesn't feel like it's gonna be so difficult or so easy that you're gonna accidentally hit it, you know? But there's pros and cons to everything and I'll talk about here in just a moment. But what is really cool about this is, like I said, it's got this little lever that allows you to kind of like just do this number and you can switch from having a really tight, narrow beam that maybe you want to cast way down range, and then it can open up to nice and wide if you're coming into a room or something, right? Which again, I think is really, really cool. And on top of that, you've got a smaller laser. It is a visible and IR laser that are slaved together. So whenever you use 0, 1, the other is zeroed on top of it. Very cool. So all in all, it's just a really neat thing.
It's probably the coolest looking.
Dude, it's just a simple, it's not much bigger than a deck of cards.
Oh yeah,
you know?
exactly, yeah.
Weighs the same as a PEC 15 already, which again, I think is kind of neat also because I was also kind of thinking, I was like, you know, well, maybe since it's smaller, it'd weigh less, but they're packing more technology into it. So it's kind of like, oh.
I mean, compared to D-ball, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just
Well,
not
like
night and day.
Like you mean,
That guy right there.
if you want an illuminator,
Yeah. Right
bring out
there.
the D2, you got an illuminator.
Yeah.
But then again, look at this chunky boy at the front of the Spear LT that we'll probably give away one day.
Soon.
So anyway,
That's what you get. That's what you
Son
get.
of a bitch.
Just blinded himself.
We're over here now at EOTech, and I've got JB holding what I do believe is the OGL.
It is.
And we actually just recently did our podcast, kind of like our SHOT Show predictions and everything, and this was one of the things that I wanted to see. So I'm glad you've got it, of course, on a M4A1. Solid choice. And just go ahead and talk about it, man. First of all, what does OGL stand for?
It's really complicated.
Okay.
It's on-gun laser.
Direct and to the point. I love it. All right.
Simple.
Yep.
Yeah, so on-gun laser, we're really proud of this. We're not really close to production, so we don't want to, tease too many people, but really proud of it. It's about the size of a deck of cards, so it's a little smaller than your app peel, certainly different than your Mauls. But it's got the slaved IR and visible laser.
Awesome.
So you're just using the one elevation and windage adjustment. It's a VCSEL laser for the illuminator.
Yep.
And what's really unique and kind of proprietary to us is we were able to create a really simple slide to control the flood or the spot.
Yep.
So instead of having that dial that you got to really mess with in the middle of the night or with gloves, you can really work that flood really simple.
That's exactly what I mentioned in our podcast. I was like, this is going to be really cool. I'd like to see how you guys integrate this, pretty much this lever that you can use with your offhand manipulation, or your non-dominant hand manipulation. And that is a really neat thing. So it's going to be nice and intuitive. I like that because there are applications where you want more of a wider flood for your illuminator versus something a little bit more narrow. So I really like that quite a bit.
It's in line with your fire button too.
Exactly.
So everything's right there.
Yeah.
Easy to find, easy to manipulate.
Right. And weight's about the same as the Adipal, right?
It is. It's 7 ounces with a battery.
Yeah.
It's CR123 battery.
Easy enough.
It's got a pigtail switch. Takes all the common pigtail switch. We actually include the mod light hot button to it, so
that's
that'll
cool.
come with
Yeah.
it. Yep. Comes with the covers. Comes with a full set of the beam shapers. All of that.
Wow, that's awesome, man. When again, it just looks nice and slim on the actual gun itself. Obviously, we got the quad rail here, and I mean, it looks good. It looks good. Like I said, not much bigger than a deck of cards. I'm excited to get my hands on one when it's ready.
So we were going to make this in black.
Yeah.
And when we first saw the first anodizing, it wasn't black, but we're like, that's really cool. So we're doing it in this really cool gray, but we're also doing it in a flat dark earth or tan.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. It looks like it matches pretty well, like to just about all my other flat dark earth colors, and even black guns. It obviously just looks really clean on it. So I like the gray color. I think it looks great. The OGL. I'm just gonna call it the original gangster laser. That's what I'm gonna call it.
That's right.
But no, I mean everything down from the name to the style, I'm a big fan of.
Cool.
All right.
Pressure pads, pros and cons. All right, just gonna throw that out there. Anyway, so the OGL is a pretty cool thing. On-gun laser, not the original gangster laser. They keep it nice and simple. And I asked Tara, who was at the booth with us, and I was like, she had it, in this nice packaging. She's showing off everybody. I was like, hey, can I steal that? I mean, not like steal, but
Borrow.
But I want to borrow it. And she's kind of looking at me like, why? And I was like, well, you're right next to the Daniel Defense booth. I want to run over there with the M4A1 that has the LMT M203 grenade launcher on it, throw the OGL on there, and just get some pretty cool content. And she's like, take it. I had that thing for about an hour. Showing it to the guys over at Daniel. Frank, if you're watching, hey, buddy. And so it was just super cool. And Johnny, you too. And so we're just sitting there. Hey, no, Marty. And so we're just sitting there. I'm talking about the OGL on the M203, and it's just like, it looks cool.
You got some photos or what?
I got some photos. I got some content too where I may or may not have acted like I stole everything. Obviously, I didn't, but unfortunately.
Yeah, we don't know about that.
That's true. But anyway, the OGL I think is a really cool device. Again, just that having that throw instead of having to manipulate the actual front end of the optic itself makes life a lot easier and less stuff you have to mess around with in that stressful situation. So, number 3, OGL. Roll into our number 2.
And next up, we have the Gemtech GVAC system.
Dude,
have you heard of it?
Well, yeah, I saw the interview on it because Ryan couldn't stop talking about it. I'm like, okay, well, what is this thing,
It's
right?
super cool.
So this is one of the cool things about having multiple teams on the ground, going to different booths, trying to get as much coverage as possible. Is we get to cover a lot of ground. The bad part is, typically, unless we have time, which we don't, only one of us can cover one booth, and then if we have time, we can go and run over there and be like, oh, I want to see this, right? But then it's like, I'm trying to cover all sorts of other things and record podcasts. Worth it. All right, so the GVAC, after watching the video on that though, he literally said he took pretty much tank technology and put it into the AR-15, right? So it's the entire, it is a system because you have to have the cuts in the barrel for this to work and everything. But they ultimately took the tank, what's called a bore evacuator on a tank. You ever notice that kind of like growth on a M1 Abrams tank barrel? There's like, let's say this is the actual muzzle end and this is kind of the receiver end, right? Right here in the middle, there is a
bump.
It's a swollen part of the barrel. That is your bore evacuator. What that does ultimately is it's a little cut that traps gases. Once all those gases are shot out the barrel, these then kind of push the rest out. It kind of creates this vacuum. So that way it actually is a safety thing for those tank members, for those gases not to come back in and suffocate and kill everybody. So same concept put into the Gemtech GVAC system. What this now does, especially if you're shooting suppressed,
Yep.
it's going to prevent a lot of those, if not all of those gases from coming back into the system and like, getting you in the face and all that type of stuff. So you interviewed Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony was awesome. If you're watching Anthony, you're great. Great guy.
Yeah.
And he explained it perfectly, and they had this animation on the screen too. And also, suppressor, they have their own suppressors, which they also kill the flash, muzzle flash, flash signature, which is fantastic. So, because we all know, like when you shoot suppressed, you get those gases back. Like after one magazine, you're like, oh my God, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
And with that, and he tried that. He said he tried that with this new system.
Yeah.
Barely any gas back.
That's pretty interesting. So yeah, let's hear Anthony talk about that and also show that that animation that you're talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, here we are at the Gemtech Suppressors booth, and I've got Anthony over here. Anthony, thanks for having us.
Thanks, Kaya.
All right, so Anthony, you just explained to us some awesome new system that you guys came up with.
Yes.
And it is super cool. I mean, it makes perfect sense, but when you explain it, it's just like mind-blowing.
Okay.
You want to go ahead and explain that to our audience?
Okay, I'll try not to word salad you guys to death.
All right.
So essentially how this system works is, let's start with the purpose. The purpose of this is that we all love the AR. The AR is a fantastic rifle system, and what we wanted to do was expand the threshold in which it performs fantastically. One of the places where it lets us all down a little bit is gas blowback when it comes to suppression. So what we did here is we employed some technology from tanks into the AR. So our GVAC gas system acts as a bore evacuator, just like on a tank gun. And how it works is we use pressures. So as the bullet travels down the barrel, we have two forward-facing ports in the barrel, including the gas port that drives gas down the tube and runs the gun. So high pressure wants to go to low pressure. All that gas following the bullet as it goes down the barrel is high pressure. So we tap off that excess gas that would normally just be lingering in the barrel, and that would become the gas blowback that we experience when we shoot suppressed, and holds it in the gas block. Then when the bullet leaves the barrel, that creates a vacuum, and all this high pressure gas that's stored in this gas block is now jetted forward and out. So it reduces all that excess gas that would just come out of your ejection port, and only the gas needed to drive the gun is driven down the gas tube.
So yeah, people may ask, and we were talking about this, like, what about the reliability? Because if you're trapping some gas over here, are you going to have enough gas back here to go back and cycle the bolt, right?
Yes.
And how does that work?
Yeah, yes, we would, because the ports that go into the gas block are forward of the gas port. So all that pressure following the bullet, everything that's needed to drive it is being driven back. So we're not tapping energy from back here before it gets to the gas port. We're tapping after it.
Okay, so with that being said, you got enough gas to cycle the bolt, and you trap some gases over here, so they stay here instead of coming out of the dust cover and just kind of like hitting us in the face. We all know that feeling. It's just like, oh man, after a few rounds, you're like, you can't breathe, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's a great solution.
It's also a reimagined barrel profile, so we shifted more weight to the rear, which helps increase the just the rigidity of the barrel itself, and also keeps the nose lighter. So when you throw a suppressor on it, and you'll see it in the whole firearm, but it just feels like a heavier gun rather than a gun with a weight on it. So weight balance was also really important to this design as well.
Absolutely, and the weight balance is super important. When you're trying to shoot obviously accurately, and when you're just simply holding, that weight up front, even if it's like a pound or two, feels like 10 pounds.
Certainly, The longer and especially the longer the barrel, the longer the lever, the more weight it feels like.
Absolutely. I mean, phenomenal product, man. This is Fantastic. And then you have the suppressor technology.
So we released 2 brand new suppressor designs at the show here. This is our Abyss 556, which is our reduced back pressure 556 suppressor. And just kind of like with the gas system, it also works with pressures. I got a video that's playing in back of you guys right now that shows exactly how this works, but essentially what happens is we are able to vortex gas around the outside of these baffles and then allow it to escape through this end cap and flash reduction system. So essentially we're turning what would be gas blowback inside the suppressor and moving that gas outside of it and using it for muzzle flash reduction. So we're taking all that combusted gas that's in the suppressor and we're channeling it to the front so that when your round breaks out, the atmosphere in front of the suppressor is already burnt, so there's nothing to ignite. So you get muzzle flash, basically no muzzle flash from the first shot to the last. So we're turning blowback into flash reduction.
So you got yourself a suppressor that's gonna suppress the round and the sound, and you can have very, very minimal or to no flash profile. That's like a win-win for everybody. And you said this system is designed to work well together, right?
Yes, the reduced back pressure system in the gas system is going to make every suppressor more comfortable to shoot on this. But honestly, it's really the combination of these 2 things together, I think really take the cake. It's a very quiet suppressor. It's about 135 dBc at the muzzle. So 135 dBc is we use a C weighting scale. C weighting is a great scale for measuring between about 130 and 175 dB, so you actually get true peak sound performance. And we use a B&K pulse meter for anybody who wants to know, and that's the top of the line in the industry and is a very, very accurate and phenomenal system.
So you can imagine my excitement with that because, I'm going to want one and run the heck out of it. And I think honestly doing a comparison, I think we should do like a 1,000-round test comparison. Have the exact same suppressor on the GVAC system, the exact same suppressor and barrel length and all that on a different system that's just your standard DI without the GVAC, and then run 1,000 rounds through each. And then bust them open, make sure they're flawless beforehand, like brand new, right? Bust them open and then just go ahead and do a white glove test and see which one's dirtier. See if you can tell if you have any reliability issues out of the 2. I mean, there's, like the GVAC too, since all of this, is happening after the actual gas port that makes the gun run, you shouldn't have any reliability issues. So, I mean, it
makes sense. Like,
why hasn't this been thought of before? Again, it's kind of like, it's so simple, yet so like revolutionary. It makes me mad because I'm like, why did I think of that?
I mean, you would think. I mean, if he didn't explain that to me, I'd be like, man, would it be reliable? Because I would think of that because you're capturing some gases over here. But no, when he explained it, it makes perfect sense because it's past the gas port.
Yeah.
You're good to go. I mean, they did it with tanks. It works great. Hey, my hat's off to this.
So there you have it. That's why it's our number 2 pick. But for our number 1 pick in accessories, actually, before we roll into that, we always want to talk about our honorable mentions. We messed up this year. We tried to cover a lot, tried to do a lot this year. We didn't really strategize that well. We just said, hey, we're going to do it like we have the past 2 years. We're going to hit the ground running and go. None of us hit Leupold. Sorry, guys. I feel really bad about that because I've covered you guys every other part of the year. And you guys even made me a little badge one year that.
Man, I saw them too.
Bad. But they're Mark V 2-10. The Mark V HD 2-10 LPVO that they brought out. I am a huge fan of the Mark V HD series. That optic is just like on the 50 cal that we just finished with the giveaway. That I think is like a supreme optic for those long range engagements, especially with the Trimmer 3 reticle. It just gives you everything you could ever ask for. Maybe too much, honestly, for a lot of us. But I mean, the glass clarity, the 35 millimeter tube. I mean, it's a thick boy, but it's just awesome optic. And so the Mark V HD 2-10 that they came out with. I'm sorry I missed you.
Yeah, hopefully we can kind of make it up by covering it in this video.
NRA and Yomi, NRA and Yomi. Yeah, so hopefully that. So anyway, without further ado, let's roll into our number 1 pick. Number 1, wasn't expecting this, Holosun. They haven't named them just yet, but they're night vision and thermal optics. Holosun came out with a compact, more budget-friendly night vision optic and thermal optics for your rifle platform, whatever the heck you want it to be. I was very impressed.
Why are they not named?
Well, that's just it. They're still kind of like in their, initial phases. I'm sure they have a name in mind. They just haven't released it yet. They just want to be like, hey, guess what?
Bit.
Yeah, hey, look what we've got, right? Yeah. And so this is a really cool thing that I think, because it is a very compact footprint, and that allows you to give you that night vision capability or even thermal capability to a limited range, but still gives you that capability. So, but anyway, let's let them talk about it. Let's cut back on over to the Holosun footage. We're over here now with Holosun, and I've got Josh with us today. Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure. Thanks for coming over.
Oh, of course, man. Especially after last night when I actually got some hands-on experience with your new night vision and thermal optics.
Yep.
This was something really, really cool, and I'm really excited for you to guys see this footage, and on top of that, be able to actually see kind of what we're talking about right now. But the man to talk about it obviously is you. Explain to me what we've got now, because we've got ultimately a red dot that is night vision capable, and I'm not talking just the reticle's night vision capable to be seen through. I'm talking about the whole optic is night vision. Which, dude, just have at it.
Yeah, so starting on the low end, so we have a couple of different ranges in this that we're going to go with. I think for the entry side of it, we're doing the night vision sensor on top with an IR illuminator. And so like you were saying, the easiest way to think about this is it's just like a red dot sight. When both lip caps are open, you have two pieces of glass. It works just like our AIMS unit. Then you're like, hey, you know what, it's getting a little dark. Kick on the sensor. Now you have a night vision overlay. And so the overlay allows you to see a lot more through it while still having the pass through. Then if you want full contrast, you simply just close the door all the way. Boom, now you're in full night vision. You can see everything that you're seeing through there, especially with our illuminator. And so I think the thing for me that's really awesome about these is the price point is going to be starting around $1,000. Wow. So we're really not trying to break the bank too much with this. We're just trying to give people more features and options. But for me, I'm definitely geeking out pretty hard on the thermal setting one, because it's just so cool. And you guys got a chance to shoot this last night and seeing the heated targets and them illuminating. And so it's basically the same principle. Red dot sight, camera on top, two different systems. One thing that is unique about these is that there is actually a reticle built into this. So you have an independent reticle of the AIMS reticle that you have underneath, or the MRS, so you can zero those to different things if you need to. Additionally, it has the ability to record video. You can take pictures. It's got 8x digital zoom. I mean, just as many bells and whistles, and that's not even getting into the modes for color. White hot, black hot, fusion, outline mode. There's a highlight mode. Yeah. There are so many cool features built into this, and the price point on this one is going to be around that $1,600 mark. Yeah. And we have a pro version that's got a 33% bigger sensor, and that one's going to come in at around $2,300. So we're trying to keep everything in sub $2,500 for everybody, because we just want everyone to be able to play with these and have fun with them, because they are so much fun to shoot and play with. So.
Well, and they really are, and that just, I mean, again, for something to be so compact, a few of you might be looking at that and like, for a red dot, that's big. And I'm like, for a red dot, sure, but it has so much more capability than just a red dot. Again, thermal imaging, night vision, both with being able to record what you're shooting. That's pretty cool, dude. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, we really stuffed all the features inside of these as much as we possibly could. And a lot of people are asking, hey, how's the battery life on these? Is this going to be like a 1 hour kind of thing? We're getting about 10 hours on the Pro version, 20 hours on the standard version. The night vision ones are a little different, 10 hours and 5 hours on those ones. They have only one battery in the cell. But these also take an 18350 rechargeable, two of them. So when you're running low on batteries, you can simply open the door, pop in new rechargeables, and you're on your way. So it's one of those things you don't have to worry about too much. So
it's just one of those, before your hunt, before your mission, whatever it might be, make sure you got fully charged stuff, which you should do anyway. And it's going to last long enough to get through what it sounds like, depending on your engagement or whatever it might be. It sounds like you're going to have plenty enough ample time to be able to do what you got to do.
Right, and you can always turn it off to save that battery life. You don't have to have it on all the time, because it still is a red dot at the end of the day.
Right.
So, you can use this in a multitude of different ways, and I'm really excited to see what everybody ends up using it for. I can see applications for hog hunting, law enforcement, so many different ways you can take this one. So, can't wait to get more out there for everyone to get their hands on. We're looking at about a Q4 release for this, so hopefully we can get some fun presents under the Christmas tree, but we'll see if we make the deadline on those. We have some stuff that we still want to tweak, some more bells and whistles we might add here and there, but so far we've been incredibly happy with the response from here at the SHOT Show, and so everyone's just really stoked about it. So. And
like I said in the footage there, we did actually get to shoot it. Ryan and John and I got to go to JK Armament, had their entire range event, and they also had Taran Tactical's Genesis full auto 12-gauge shotgun suppressed there that apparently is used in the next John Wick movie. So your boy Mag, absolutely. What do you think I am?
Of course.
Mag dump, Morgan.
Full auto shotgun.
Yes, absolutely.
Sure. Suppressed shotgun.
Suppressed full auto shotgun on top of that. And Agency Arms was there doing their thing too.
Where was I? Nobody knows.
You said you were meeting up with somebody else. I don't know, man.
Okay.
Gotta hang out with the cool kids, dude.
I know.
So anyway, let us know if you guys agree with this list or disagree with it. Again, we were actually on the show floor, so. Now, if you were on the... Now, if you're on the show floor too, however, and you saw something that we completely missed, please let us know down in the comments section. I know a lot of you are probably at home too, like, hey, I want to see some of the latest and greatest. And we offer a lot of coverage, but you may have actually saw something else that, again, that we may have missed. Let us know down in the comments section.
It's a big show, man.
It's a big show, yeah. And maybe next year we'll have 6 teams. I don't know.
That's right.
Yeah, we're just gonna keep going. Whatever, screw it. I want one day to be able to cover just every single vendor. All of them.
Very ambitious of you.
Yeah, I know. This year, my personal goal is 200. We're gonna get 200 manufacturers. We got 121. Came up a little bit short, but we also integrated podcasting.
Yeah.
So there we go. Right?
Good times, man.
It was.
I had fun.
Yeah, it's Thursday recording this. I feel somewhat rested, so